Hey guys, Nick here, and today I am going to be analyzing all of my animated videos that I did this year. Now, this video is going to be a little bit more unscripted, uh, so yeah, let's just get into it. Starting off, I wanted to talk about in the Omega Ruby video. I'm going in order from Omega Ruby to Dark types. I only did 3 animated videos so far this year, besides this one. I want to talk about the fact that in the Omega Ruby video, I had 4 different models for the protagonist. So, let's talk about this. First of all, there's this one that I used in one of the opening slides. I do everything on Google Slides, by the way. There's this animated figure who actually doesn't have anything below this point, which is kind of stupid. There's this one, which is just my Minecraft character. This one, which I believe is from Emerald. And then this one from Omega Ruby. Now, the reason I did 4 was because I didn't really know what I was doing with animated videos at the time. And I just thought, hey, this would be interesting. And I talked about it with some of my friends at school, and they were just like, it's not that great. So I decided to box it for the next few animated videos. So yeah, next up, I brought Delcatty to the team. And it was decent for pretty much all of the playthrough. Well, while it was there. Well, sort of. So the reason I brought it was because it could learn the normal type move Assist, which could change into other moves depending on which Pokemon I had in my party. However, I never ended up using this strategy. Don't know why I didn't use this strategy. Probably because it's a bit unpractical. I'd have to bench most of my team. And even then, most of the Pokemon would just know normal type moves. So, it's not too useful. Next was this clip here where Swablu lands safely on my head. And didn't know this when making the video, but apparently that's a thing it does. Didn't know that. I found, which is something I just found interesting. Like, this is a legitimate Pokedex entry and I just guessed that it happened. What are the odds? Next, I want to talk about this slide. Okay, this is the main thing that inspired this video. At this point, I talked about adding Lopunny to the team and that I could have done a lot of other cooler things. So let's go through these. First of all, Raticate. Raticate would have been so much better immediately because it could learn Super Fang. And Super Fang will just half an opponent's health just like that. Next is Cast Form, who I could use Weather Ball with, a base normal move, add a weather effect using an ability, and then have it use Weather Ball. However, I look back on that, it's slightly impractical, but it could have still worked really well compared to Lopunny. Next is Regigigas, who pretty much right after I made this video, I learned it actually would not have been that great, because Regigigas has the ability Slow Start, making it kinda suck. That's just great. Stoutland is just a really good normal type, and that stab could have gone the extra mile with Stoutland instead of Lopunny. Ambipom I just like. I just like Ambipom. I thought it would have been much better than Lopunny at that point. Gallade, despite what you might think, actually has a decent normal type move pool. It can learn Slash, it can learn Feint, that's all that's coming to mind right now. It would have been decent. And then finally is Dugtrio. Yeah, don't know why this didn't come to mind. I even knew about this during the playthrough. Dugtrio would have been amazing, despite popular belief, because Dugtrio can also learn Tri-Attack, which was a very good move throughout this playthrough. Don't know why I didn't add it to the team, so we're just going to move on from that. Next, for the Pokemon X video, I want to talk about Lopunny. Not Lopunny, Bunnelby. And at this point in the video, I was actually going to talk about how great it was, and then I looked back at my notes. This thing was absolute garbage. Sorry, Bunnelby, you just suck. Get good. Like, you just suck, okay? You were not that good on the team. It added nothing besides Earthquake, which was okay, but it would have come in handy for one battle, and that it just wasn't worth it in the end. Next, I want to talk about this set for Lysander Cafe. And I just want to talk about this because this took forever. As a matter of fact, integrating this into a second slide presentation took forever. I had to literally copy and paste the entire slide. Okay, and then delete all the assets on it, which took a while. Trust me there. Now, the reason this took so long is because I had to do all of these tiles individually, and that took forever. I also had to space them evenly. It was very hard. Then I had to put a chair in here, and a table, and I had to make everything look nice. It took forever to make the set. I just wanted to give it a shout out. So we're just going to stare at it for 5 seconds. Right, I think that's good. Moving on. I want to talk about this badge case. So, this also took a bit, mostly in getting the images. However, I actually did learn in future videos that a lot of things, like Mega Gyarados as well with this, a lot of stuff could have actually looked way better, especially these badge cases, because I learned you can actually just pull up the images directly using Bulbapedia. That was actually how I got these images. So if I do this, like immediately, it's in a better aspect ratio for this video. Because I had to shrink it instead of expand it. Like, look at that difference. You might not notice it on certain badges, but like you have to actually look at them. Like, look at the grass badge. Boom, better. I didn't know why that didn't look so, like, it looked bad in the original video, and I learned it could have looked way better just by clicking on the image itself. I could have made it so much better. Moving on from that setback, let's move on to the Ultra Sun, but I'm a Dark type trainer video. Starting with Malamar. And the Malamar I used in this video could have been amazing if it just had the ability Contrary, but instead it had Suction Cups, which is really awful. The ability Contrary, what it does is it reverses what stats do. If it's a stat dropping move, it'll actually increase your stats. If it's a stat raising move, it'll decrease your stats. So that might not sound too useful, but if you have a move like Superpower, which Malamar can learn, by the way, that'll actually be super overpowered because it's 140 base power. Physical move, Malamar's physical attacker, hit it with anything, it boosts attack and defense. It not only will become bulky, it will become a super powered, it'll become a burning dump truck of destruction. However, this one could not learn it. So I was upset. This one had the ability Suction Cups, so I was pretty upset by that. Moving on. I want to talk about this shot here. In the Ultra Sun video, I actually did put a lot more effort into just background things, like Murkrow. Murkrow comes up to me holding this little gold coin here, and some people might be wondering why. Well, according to its Pokemon Moon Dex entry, it's seen as a symbol of bad luck. Generally disliked, yet it gives presents, objects that sparkle or shine, to trainers it's close to. Murkrow was close to me already due to the dark energy I gave off. So, yeah, I went with that in the video because that was cute. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's cute. Next, I want to mention the fact, now in battles in the previous videos, there would usually be a scoreboard of how many Pokemon each person had left. I removed that for this because I actually saw how the battles worked in the Elite Four in the X video. And you know what? It looked really good without the scoreboard. So I was just like, oh, I'll remove that. because it's not really doing much, and it's making the video quality just a little worse. So I removed them, and I had some really stellar battles in the Ultra Sun video. I actually went all out with that one. Next, I want to mention this shot here, where Dartrix fires orange razor leaves. Now, this is actually a reference to the anime because when Ash meets Hao, he battles him and his Dartrix, which fires razor leaf that looks orange, and it's actually these little quills here in its wings. That's what we're looking at with its razor leaf, which I think it's pretty cool. So I went with it, and I was like, you know what? Little extra detail. Nobody hates that. Next, I want to mention Larvitar's sunglasses. Why is it wearing sunglasses, you might ask? Well, Larvitar in Ultra Sun is born underground. It eats its way through dirt to the surface, where its parents are. It doesn't deal well with bright lights it finds there, which is why it's wearing the sunglasses. Also, I want to mention the fact that these looked way better in the very last battle it fought as a Larvitar. You see, I actually learned right at the end of having Larvitar on my team in the animations that I can just group things in Google Slides. And if you don't know how to do this, it's Control-Alt-G to group them, and then I think it's Control-Alt-G to also ungroup them. So yeah, that's just something to know if you like doing stuff like this in Google Slides. Next up, this shot. I like swear jokes, okay? I really like swear jokes. I find them so funny. I'm sorry, I just find them funny. Anyway, moving on. So this I was really upset about. There were 4 pure dark types I would have loved to use on my team. However, unfortunately, I was limited to the fact that this is a monotyped run. And pure typed Pokemon on a monotyped run don't tend to do that well unless they have some sort of gimmick. I think the only one here that could have done decently is Zoroark, who had the Imposter ability. Or potentially even Absol if I was playing like Pokemon Omega Ruby, because I could have used like a Mega Absol. But Persian and Umbreon I'm very upset about that I couldn't use. Especially Absol as well. Absol is one of my favorite Pokemon, so it's like, why you gotta do this to me? Why you gotta do this to me? Pure typings. Stupid. Like, Pure Dark. Also, Pure Dark is just not a very good type. Sorry. It's just not. I like Umbreon, though. It's cool. Next, want to mention, first of all, this is just an auto-generated thumbnail. This was just auto-generated by YouTube. Very handy, guys. But next, I want to mention the fact that I'm battling Nanu in the desert. Now, the thing with battling in the desert is because this is actually where Ash had his grand trial in the anime. So I thought it would make a lot of sense for me to do the same thing, because it's more of a traditional grand trial, rather than battling at the docks, which would have made no sense. Next, this is just a weird thing about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that I learned during the video. So, the elemental punches are not learned via TM. I thought that was weird, but whatever. However, what I think is even weirder is the fact that you learn Thunder and Ice Punch on Ula Island beach move tutors, and the Fire Punch on the Akala Island beach move tutors. Didn't understand that. That was just weird. Also, why do you have to use the surfing move tutors to learn these moves anyway? Just make them TMs. But also, I want to mention Greninja. Now, some of you might have questioned how I got Greninja on my final team. And this is actually a bit of a strange thing with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and it's that you can scan QR codes. And if you scan them enough, you get like QR code points, which allows Island Scan to activate. Now, what does Island Scan do? I'm glad you asked. It allows you to find very specific Pokemon in specific areas on every island. Now, for Pony, if you use Island Scan on Fridays in Pony Wilds, you can catch a Greninja with the move Bestow. It's weird. They also get egg moves, but you can only get one. Now, this is cool. However, I actually did find this out on a Saturday instead of a Friday, and I didn't want to get like a time penalty or something, so I kind of just waited a week and started animating the video, so that took forever. Next, so I was at lunch with my friends, Ryan and Lane, and he had permission for me to use his name. This shot here, where I turn on the lights for Alola, I just flick the light switch, he was just like, hey Nick, make this a 500-part series, and I was just like, oh, it's funny, but I'll include it in the video. Like, and you know what? It was very funny, so shout out to Lane for giving me the idea there. Give him a round of applause. Round of applause. I didn't hear anybody clapping, probably because nobody's watching this. But anyway, moving on. Guzzlord, yeah. It joined the team at the very end of the playthrough. And I learned, once again, right after a playthrough, that it kind of sucked. I actually kind of knew that during the playthrough, because it couldn't learn any physical dark moves. And it's a physical attacker. How useless are you? Why are you like this? In lore, you're so powerful. Why are you like this, Guzzlord? Anyway, that was the analysis on every animated video this year. And yeah, by the way, all these videos in total took me around like, I'm gonna say like, how much did the most recent one take? The most recent one took so long. Each video took me around like 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes. 20 hours. Pokemon X was definitely the one that took the least amount of time. And Ultra Sun was the one that took the most amount of time. And that's because I actually had to split up the animation and it still took forever. So, yeah. Anyway, however, each video was so fun to do. I really enjoyed them. So, yeah. Anyway, if you guys really enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this video with everyone you know and love, and I hope to join you in more Pokemon adventures next year. Until then, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!